Okay, we're going to start our info session in just a couple of minutes here. Today, we're introducing IH Career Colelge, which is part of International House Vancouver, and specifically in regard to the TESOL, or Programs for Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. There's some very interesting and special programs that we're able to offer here, and a lot of expertise within our college, so we'd like to share that with you today. Just briefly looking at the schedule that we're going through today, you can see as we're starting now, my name is Jeff, and I'm the head of IH Career Colelge. So I'm here to welcome everybody to our presentation, whether you're joining us live or seeing us later on our recorded version. We want to welcome everybody to hear more about our programs, and we're very happy to share a lot of the things that we're doing, and also to have a good selection of different teachers and the instructors on our programs, as well as some former students who will tell you a little bit about their studies as well. So I think quite a bit of information can be available for you today, and I hope that everybody can learn something about our programs today. So with regard to the schedule, I will first talk about the college itself, and then also about our CELTA, our Cambridge CELTA certificate course. Following me, we're going to have Ms. Karina Suarez. She's our lead instructor for our ID TESOL diploma program, and she's going to be discussing about this program, the TESOL course. Following that, we have two instructors here for our JSHINE certificate course, so Ms. Michio Asai and Ms. Kira Conlon, who will be telling you a little bit about this course. And so sort of three different programs that we'll be giving an overview of today. After that, we'll discuss a little bit about the admission requirements, starting dates, program formats, and how to apply. And then if you have any questions, we're happy to answer questions at that time. Also, if you do have questions at any time, please feel free to put those into the chat box. If you see on the bottom of your screen, you should be able to open a window for the chat. And Sharon will be collecting those questions, and she will help. We'll go through the answers at the end of today's session. So I hope that's clear for everybody for the schedule. And approximately 1 hour is what we're looking at for this presentation. So I hope it's very informative and that you can get the information that you are looking for. So first, just a little bit about IH Career Colelge and International House Vancouver. International House Vancouver has existed as a language school within the city of Vancouver since 1990. So 30 years of history for this school, and still going very strong. In 2005, IH Career Colelge was founded as a branch or a school within IH Vancouver to deal or to manage our career training courses. So we have two major arms within IH Career Colelge. The first, and to us the founding arm, was our TESOL programs. So we started off with our 4-week International House Certificate in TESOL. We went from there, we went to our 10-week International Diploma in TESOL, and we started to offer JSHINE, and then CELTA, and now Delta as well. So we continue to grow our offerings for the teacher training programs. And that's since 2005. Since 2014, we also added business programs to the college. And we're not going to be discussing those today, but we will have the opportunity for another information session in the future where we'll be able to discuss these kind of programs and their focus on the work placement and getting work experience within Canada. Just up on the screen now, you can see some of our accreditations and affiliations that are very important for us with our college as a stamp on our authority. First of all, we are a designated school within the BC Private Training Institutions branch, or PTIB, and also within EQA. This allows us to issue study permits for students coming to Canada to take our programs. Recently with the border closures, it's been more challenges with bringing in international students, but actually just today there is some announcements coming out of Immigration Canada and the Minister of Immigration with regards to opening of the border for international students coming very soon, and open for schools that are designated learning institutions like IH Career Colelge is. The TESOL Canada logo on the right side is a very important logo for us. TESOL Canada is kind of the chief moderator for teacher training programs within Canada. So they recognize programs that meet their very specific quality standards. When we first started doing our programs, we immediately sought out their recognition and applied for the application, and have been running TESOL Canada approved programs now since 2006. So all of our programs are approved by TESOL Canada except for JSHINE. Because JSHINE is a little bit of a special program, it doesn't fall within the purvey of TESOL Canada because it's focused on a very specific kind of teaching. We also have the unauthorized center approval from Cambridge Assessment English. This is an arm of Cambridge University from the UK. They are the division that allows schools or centers like ours around the world to run CELTA and DELTA diploma courses for teaching English as a second language. Further to that, we are accredited locally by the Better Business Bureau, which shows that we are a business that always follows through on our promises and makes sure that we're not giving any misleading advertising with what we're trying to promote for our students. And finally, and most importantly, I guess for us, because it's part of our name, is our affiliation with the International House World Organization. We are very proud of our world group of schools all around the world, schools that promote quality in terms of English teaching and also for teacher training. Okay, so looking at today's presentation, we're focusing specifically on 3 of our teacher training courses. One is the Cambridge CELTA certificate course. The second one, and that will be given by Ms. Karina Suarez, is the ID or International Diploma in TESOL, diploma level course. And then thirdly is our JSHINE certificate course, which Ms. Michio Asai and Ms. Kira Conlon will introduce to you later as well. So first up is CELTA. So I guess I'm kind of introducing myself here because I'm also going to be speaking about the CELTA course as well. Apart from being head of the college, I'm also a teacher trainer, and I am a CELTA trainer as well. So I feel that I can speak about this well. So I'm happy to introduce this course. And I think the CELTA is kind of, I mean, to use the word within the TESOL or the teaching English world, it's the most famous certificate course available. The reason for this is a few reasons. One is international recognition. It's authorized, centers have to run this program have to be authorized by Cambridge University. Obviously, they don't give this authorization out very easily, and there's a lot of quality control behind running of these courses. So the fact that this certificate is not just delivered by us in Vancouver, but also by many centers around the world. So there are centers all over Asia, in Europe, in Latin America. There are many places around the world where CELTA is offered, but always under the same purvey where Cambridge University oversees what happens on the course. So it's very well internationally known. And one of the things about CELTA as well is that it's a program that people who are looking at kind of starting or improving on their career in teaching English, both here in Canada or traveling overseas and teaching in other countries, it's kind of like a first step. And as we see it, it's like the good first step to take, because it will give you a very solid grounding in the modern ideas about how we can teach English, but also give you a very well-known and internationally respected certificate that you can actually use to make your career go up to a higher level. And that's, as I said, it's valid for both teaching in Canada and overseas. On the CELTA course, the course itself, in terms of the learning outcomes, the idea with CELTA is that we want people who take the course to have an idea when they finish that, yes, okay, I can enter into a classroom, be it in a face-to-face environment or now as we're doing it on the online environment, and I know what it means to be an effective teacher. I know how to manage a classroom. I know how to organize a lesson. I know how to make sure my students are understanding what I'm teaching and that I'm achieving my goals for the lesson. So these are the basic principles for effective teaching. So it's about being effective, but it's also about being practical. So what can you teach? If you have 50 minutes to teach a lesson, what can you practically teach within those 50 minutes? How can you best deliver that to your students? And then, of course, one of the key things with CELTA is that it's not just taught. You don't just learn about it. But as with all of our courses, actually, it's hands-on teaching experience that is where you learn about putting into practice what you've been learning about. So our courses are based on the idea that you're going to learn through teaching experience. And without teaching experience, it's all a bunch of ideas, but by putting it into practice, you're getting a much more better understanding of how it works. And I think that's a really important thing about not just CELTA, but about our ID TESOL program, about our JSHINE program, about all our teacher training courses, that we really try to focus on that practical nature of the teaching. Of course, with CELTA as well, we believe there's an extra value in that you're attaining an internationally recognized certificate at the end. The certificate itself comes from Cambridge University in the UK. So it's not produced locally here in Canada. It actually comes from the UK, and it has the Cambridge logo and everything on it. Okay, so interestingly this year, I guess many things are happening all the time, including changes in the world of CELTA. So the CELTA course transitioned to a fully online program for 2020 since March. And we have been running the online course now very effectively since our first course started in April, and running it through until now. And our final course for this year will be in November. We have been running full-time courses and part-time courses. The course itself is a total of approximately 130 hours plus your extra homework time. So for full-time, we took our face-to-face course, which was intensive 4-week program, and added a little bit more time for to work better in the online environment. So it's now a 6-week course. And then for students who don't have the sort of full-time their own time to devote to the course, we now have a part-time course running on Saturdays for 12 weeks. This course includes full teaching practice schedule. So you will do the teaching practice 6 hours that you'll be observed, or 360 minutes, and a minimum of 8 lessons. Now, because of the pandemic and the situation with not being able to easily hold classes in schools right now, all of these classes are being delivered and assessed online. So we're using actually Zoom, where we're on today to deliver our webinar. We're also using Zoom as a classroom tool. And we're teaching our teachers in training how to use Zoom as a classroom. And it's actually something that's been proven to be very effective and progressive as well, because we think that more and more this is another opportunity for teachers as we move forward out of 2020, that there's going to be more and more online teaching, or mixed of like hybrid teaching. So getting that experience of actually doing the teaching online is going to be invaluable. With the teaching practice, we also include observations. So we do require 6 hours of observations of experienced teachers. These observations some will be done live, watching your tutors teach classes, and some will be done through videos, where you'll see how maybe some of the differences of how the teaching will work in an in-person or face-to-face class versus the online class. Also with CELTA, there are written assignments. So there are 4 assignments that are completed throughout the course. And there are what we call the input sessions, is where you learn the theory about teaching. On the online course, these input sessions are all done over a learning management platform. It's called Moodle. So they're not done in a traditional teacher-led classroom. It's very much more from the student perspective. You go on and you work on the modules. They're very interactive, even though you're not online with people at the same time for these modules, but they require group works, discussions, that kind of thing to complete. So those are done throughout the time of the course. So all of those these components together, so the teaching practice, the observation, the assignments, and the input sessions, make up how your CELTA course is done and how it's assessed. Okay, with regard to the syllabus, there are 5 main topic areas. CELTA is assessed based on how you work in achieving these areas. So each of these 5 areas is broken down into a list of criteria, and your grade for CELTA is based on achieving these criteria. So it's not based on an exam or anything like that. So the topics are simply learners and teachers, the context of teaching, and how people learn a language. We focus some on the language analysis and language awareness, which is kind of like the grammar, the vocabulary, the pronunciation of the language. We also focus importantly on the skills that people need to use the language. So that's reading and listening, we call receptive skills, and speaking and writing, which we call productive skills. A big focus, number 4, is on planning and using resources for different teacher contexts. This is where the practical nature comes in, because in order to be able to teach a lesson, you have to be able to use certain resources, and you have to be able to plan lessons to make it work with those resources. And we really want you to be able to do that once you're done your CELTA course. And then lastly, we focus on developing your skills as a teacher and becoming a professional teacher. So all of those together make up the total syllabus of the CELTA course. Next slide shows just an example timetable from one of our online courses. And this has changed somewhat, so it's not exactly the same for every course, but it gives you an idea of the times. This is an example daily schedule from a full-time course. So this is a Monday to Friday. And this one, we did it in an afternoon evening slot. So self-study time was in the first part of the afternoon, so from 1 to 4:30. And then from 5 to 9, this was time where we were live together on Zoom. So this included doing feedback on the teaching. This included what we call assisted lesson planning or guided lesson planning. And it also included the teaching practice itself. So the time where you're teaching. And the teaching practice, importantly, you're teaching groups of students. They're real English language learners. For the online course, they are coming from many different parts of the world and joining online, but they're people who really want to learn English. They're not paying for the lessons. They kind of come as a volunteer, but we practice our teaching on these students. On our current full-time course, the teaching practice has moved to the morning. So the live time right now is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So that has changed. But again, we base that on the needs of the trainers and the people taking the course. Example week, you can see here, you can see that the trainers will assign self-study units for each day. So on the online course, you do have to move quite quickly. And these units are exactly what you would do in a face-to-face course. So unit 1 on the teaching about the learner, dealing with language, classroom management, lesson planning. These are all units that we deal with in the face-to-face course. On the online course, they're done online on the Moodle platform. Assignments are set on a weekly basis as well. So you'll get assignments that are set, assignments that will come due. But you do have to, I guess an important part when you look at a schedule like this is, okay, well, every day I've got 2 units I've got to cover. So that means every day you have to budget a certain amount of time. You think one unit takes 90 minutes or 2 hours, and you need to have at least 3 or 4 hours just to focus on those units to get through the course. So even though we have expanded it from 4 to 6 weeks, it's still a very intense nature for the full-time course. And as I mentioned a few times, the self-study or this section where you work through units is on the Cambridge Moodle website. So when you start the course, you'll be given a login and password to this website. And that's where all of these exercises or units are taking place. The trainers will be guiding you in terms of giving you the schedule, what you need to do, and doing question and answer time, that kind of thing. But the work itself will be done through your own time. So in this way, you can also budget your time a little bit. If you're a morning person, you can get on early and do that then. If you prefer to work later in the evening, you can go and do it then. As long as you keep up with the daily and weekly schedules, you'll be fine. So that's one of the big differences about the online to the face-to-face course where we're together the whole time. We have one testimonial here from an international teacher who took our course. And so she took the course in January of last year, in 2019, I believe. And she came from Brazil to do her course. So her name was Monique, and she came all the way from Brazil. She decided that she wanted to improve her training. So she was a teacher, an English teacher in Brazil. She wanted to take the next step for her career. So she decided, okay, I'm going to not move, but come to Vancouver. I'm going to focus on this course, and I'm going to improve not only my teaching ability, but maybe also my qualifications for when I go back to Brazil. And then she had a great experience on the course. So even with someone like her with 10 years, as she mentioned, 10 years of teaching experience, and she found that she was improving as well as reaffirming. So she was reaffirming what she did well, learning things that she could do better, and improving that way. And that's something we really try to focus on with CELTA, is that everyone brings something to a classroom, but we all need to work and improve on that as well. Okay, next up, we have a couple of video testimonials from local teachers who have done the CELTA course. So I'll let you listen to those now. Go ahead, Carol.
Hi, my name is Sherry, and I'm teaching at International House Vancouver right now. I took the CELTA course at International House Career Colelge here in Vancouver in July 2014. Although I had many years of teaching experience before entering this course, CELTA refined and updated my teaching knowledge, and it also showed that teaching is a dynamic process and you need to update your knowledge constantly. It also shows you how to thrive and flourish. And in order to be an international accredited ESL teacher, you should take this well-known course. And of course, International House Career Colelge Vancouver is one of the most prestigious places to be certified from in Canada. Taking this course, of course, needs dedication and perseverance, but the result at the end is so satisfying and rewarding that I myself every now and then miss those times that I was studying the CELTA. I wish you good luck and I hope you enjoyed this course. Bye.
Hello, my name is Courtney. Right now I'm teaching at IH Vancouver. I took my CELTA course in September 2018 and I learned so much. Specifically, I learned a lot of skills to help make my teaching more student-centered, as well as ways to connect with the students better. I also learned various techniques for structuring a lesson and making lesson plans, as well as some great games to use in the classroom to make learning more enjoyable. I really recommend taking CELTA at IH Vancouver because the instructors and staff are really invested to help you grow as a teacher, and they really work with you. My advice for you if you take CELTA is to work really hard, but don't get too stressed out. And feel free to ask questions and really make some friends and have some fun while you're doing it.
Great, thank you very much for listening to about the CELTA and to our people giving the testimonials as well. For the next part, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Karina, and Karina is going to talk about our own international diploma in TESOL program. So Karina has been a teacher trainer with us now for, I guess, 10 years. And she also, she's done many teacher training courses for us. She has a specialty in teaching younger learners as well. And further for that, Karina also has been working as academic coordinator for our modern languages program, in which we teach 12 languages in the evening to local residents. So Karina is looking after the academic program for all of these 12 languages. So she has a lot of experience with teaching, with teacher training, with academic management, and we're very proud to have her as part of our team. So Karina, please go ahead.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Hi, everyone. My name is Karina, as you know, and I've been teaching at IH for 10 years. I started my history with IH started when I myself took the IHC TESOL course. So before becoming a trainer, I had the experience to be a student in that course, right? The IH TESOL program is a very comprehensive program. You will be, you have 250 hours course. And this course at the moment will be a hybrid course. And that means that I will be in the classroom. If you are in Vancouver, you can come to the classroom. If you're not in Vancouver, you can join remotely. So part of our course will be synchronous, which means that we will be all together. The input sessions, we will be all together. We will be doing We will be learning about the skills. We will be learning about the principles, just like in the CELTA course, but we will be doing it together. Okay, I will be with you. Going back to the slides before. Yeah, just go, yeah. So this course is 10 weeks. And for both international and local students, and we use a modular system. So for the 10 weeks, the first 2 weeks will be our first module. Then we can go to our next slide. So module 1 will be our TESOL foundation. Module 2, the IHC in TESOL, which was the course that I was a student when I first came to IH. The third module will be the IHC certificate for young learners teaching. And the fourth module will be young learners practicum, or you can take the TKT, which is the teaching knowledge test preparation course. So you can decide. For the first module, it enables trainees to develop their awareness about teaching and themselves as teachers. It guides them to find their natural and effective teaching style. So what is the difference between, for example, this course and the CELTA course? The CELTA course is a, if we do it full-time, is a 4-week intensive course that is for teachers who have some experience teaching. It can be for teachers who don't have any experience teaching as well. But you go straight to the principles, you go straight to learning and putting that into practice with real students. For if you have the chance to take the ID TESOL course, the first 2 weeks will prepare you for the following module. So that means that you'll be working with micro teaching. You can practice teaching with your classmates. We don't have to schedule the whole lesson. You can go little by little in the lesson. So we go over each stage of the lesson slowly. We test it, we talk about it. We try activities with the students, and we reflect on the outcomes. Did it work? It didn't work. Why? And we are doing this in the classroom environment, just the trainees, the students themselves. So I feel that this TESOL Foundation course gives you a lot of confidence before you move to the second module, that is the IHC in TESOL. This is very similar, the structure is very similar to the CELTA course. You will be working with, the syllabus is similar: language awareness, language analysis, and language development. The language is very dynamic, so it's a lot about how people use the language outside. How did you learn to use the language? How is the language used? So we can work on those areas. Language systems, you will learn how to teach grammar effectively, how to work on your pronunciation skills, and how to help your students improve their pronunciation, how to teach vocabulary, how to work with vocabulary with your students, and also working with the skills reading, listening, speaking, and writing, just like we do with the CELTA course. Effective lesson planning, so you will learn how to plan your lessons in a way that they work step by step, and that we get ready for that when we do the foundation course, and then we put all the puzzle pieces together when we are doing the TESOL, and you will develop your own skills by reflecting on what you are doing and improving from there. So it's also a very intense course. You will be having input sessions, and you will also be teaching the ESL students, like real students, not your classmates. So it's a very, very rewarding experience. After the 4 weeks of the IHC TESOL, you go to the third module, which is the Certificate for Young Learners Teaching. This module will be discussed in details along with the JSHINE part, because this can be for students who are taking the JSHINE certification or not. The 2 weeks English part will cover teaching in a daycare setting, teaching for elementary students, so teaching English to young learners in general. So this will be discussed with Kara later. And then module 4. So after you finish these 2 weeks, you can opt to go to a practicum, so to work and experiment, teaching kids and learning from them a lot as well. Or you can do the preparation for the teaching knowledge test. That is a Cambridge test, a Cambridge exam. So this can be also taken as a preparation course for the TKT exam. So you'll be familiar with the format of the test, the level and the style of questions. So we will practice a lot and have mock tests as well to help you prepare for the exam. And yes, and JSHINE now will be done, Michio, right? So if you have any questions, please share your questions, and then in the end, we can help you with questions.
Thank you very much, Karina. Appreciate your introducing that program for us. And yeah, I think it's quite unique now that we'll have our hybrid option up and running now for our next session. And we think this is a good way to continue going forward as well. So having a mix of face-to-face and online as well. Next program for our program that we're going to discuss is our JSHINE program. And we have 2 instructors. This is a 2-part program. It's part Japanese and part in English. So first of all, Ms. Michio Asai is going to discuss about our details about the program and how it's taught and things like that. And then Kira, she will discuss a little bit about how the young learner portion is taught in English as well. So we're very lucky to have 2 esteemed instructors for this program, and they're going to discuss this with you now. So Michio, I believe you're going first, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Michio. I'm the teacher trainer for the JSHINE program. And I would like to introduce this program to you today. The first one is, what is JSHINE? And JSHINE's formal name is Japan Shogakko, which means elementary school, instructors of English. So this program is 150-hour intensive course, including 50-hour practicum. And this program is fully accredited by JSHINE organization. The first part will be lectured in Japanese, which is my part. And then the second part will be lectured in English. And JSHINE organization, what is JSHINE organization? So I'd like to introduce. So JSHINE announced the Cabinet Office in February 2003 that it would support the spread and development of English education in elementary schools in Japan. So it is a non-profit organization that certifies the qualifications of English education instructors. So the English classes at the public elementary school in Japan began 2003 for only grade 5 and 6 first. So for now, it has been expanded from this year to grades 3 to 6. So the demand is getting so high right now at the public elementary schools, kindergarten, and also English conversation schools in Japan now. So the next page is course contents. So this program consists of 3 parts. So first part is, which is my part, elementary school English teacher training course. So this part will be lectured in Japanese. By taking this course, you'll be able to acquire the knowledge and skills necessary for conducting English activities and English education in elementary school. and also acquire sufficient abilities as a child English education instructor. So the part two, second part is TESOL for young learners. So this part will be lectured in English. So this program, you could learn how to engage and teach young learners. So the program was designed to provide initial training in teaching English to young learners in the age range of 3 to 13 years old. So this part, the instructor Kila, she will explain the detail later. And the third part is practicum at the daycare center. So normally you could gain valuable practicum experience at daycare center. However, right now, practicum is not available because of the pandemic situation. So hopefully we can start again very soon. So the next page is learning outcome JSHINE part, which is my part. So the part one, there are 3 parts in this course. So the first part is theory. So this part will be lectured in Japanese, and you will learn JSHINE organization system and philosophy. And next one is objectives of elementary English. And next one is understanding the curriculum guidelines for Japanese elementary school English. And next one is how to collaborate with junior high school and high school teachers. So when you're teaching English at the elementary school, you also need to contact with those teachers. And next one is understand language acquisition. And the last one is assessment methods. And next part, for the second part, is teaching skills. So this part will be lectured in English and Japanese. So this part you will learn listening, speaking activity, and games, songs and dance, chants, and classroom English. For the third part is teaching practice. So you make unit plan and a lesson plan for your micro teaching and teaching practice. So we have 2 micro teaching, one for young learners and the other one is for elementary school students. And we also have 2 teaching practice, one for young learners and the second one is for elementary school students. And next part will be TESOL for young learners. So Kila, should we explain to you?
Apologies, I didn't realize I was still muted. Welcome, as everybody has been sharing. I'm happy to be here and share as well. The first thing that I want to say is that the English portion of JSHINE is not a lecture. I need you to know that it's not a sit in and listen type of program, and you will be highly active and involved. The more you are involved, the more you will actually make progress and grow. So let me tell you about the 2 weeks that we'll spend together. So the key elements of these 2 weeks is that we are going to focus a little bit more heavily on preparing students for preschool age and early elementary school classes that will help you prepare for your practicum in the daycare when they're available, but also because, as Michio says, there is a high need for preschool and younger ages in Japan now. We have a high focus on the practical training. That means there's a theory to application ratio of 40 to 60. That means we're talking about the theories 40% of the time, and we are applying the theories in a practical way 60% of the time. As I said, very active. How do we do that? Well, you'll be expected to do individual tasks, and when numbers allow, to work in pairs or small groups to collaborate on your practice teachings. Now, that also involves other activities for specific topics that reinforce those so that we can build and have a foundation, something complete when we're providing a lesson. Thank you. The purpose of these 2 weeks is introduce you all to basic teaching methods. For those JSHINE students who are not part of the TESOL stream and having done the ID TESOL, many do not have any teaching background or experience with kids, in a teaching way at least. So we really look at the basic teaching methods, especially focused on young learners. We also look at the main tenets or the key points of child development. So do you understand what to expect of a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old? Meaning, what is it that they are intellectually, vocally or linguistically, and physically able to do? Because when you're planning your lessons, it's very relevant to know this. Then thirdly, we're going to look at improving the student's presence as a leader with the ability to manage a group of young learners. Because you can have all the information in your mind, but unless you know how to manage all those kids, right, and all those students, then the best plan is not going to be effective. Okay, so being a leader in the classroom and being able to manage is just as important as understanding the teaching methods. Thank you. So during the 2 weeks, we will start from the beginning. So we look at understanding the industry of teaching English and looking at the differences between teaching English as a second language, teaching English as a foreign language, or teaching English as a native language to English-speaking children from English-speaking countries, and how that differs in how we present our material and our lessons. We then look at setup. Okay, so that means not just the physical environment of your classroom, but also things like routine and structure within what you do within the classroom. Classroom management is how we can deal with getting students' attention or disciplining when students are misbehaving in ways that's going to encourage the behavior we want to see. Then we look at giving instructions. Okay, how can we be clear in what we're asking them to do, and how can we give those instructions in a way that's going to encourage their success, help them towards that achievement. Lesson structure and planning, because everything needs an order. Right? We can't build them to success if we start by asking them to do the hardest thing, right? We have to build their skills. We look specifically at teaching vocabulary. Then we look at teaching phonics and reading. And phonics is how do we teach them the sounds of the language and connect those sounds to the writing, to the letters of the language. Okay? Because you may know that English has 26 letters in the alphabet, but we have 44 actual sounds in our language. So it's a combination that is what phonics is, the combination of sounds to writing. Then we look at teaching grammar, and with young learners, that's very different than teaching adults, because here young learners need to play with the language. Directly telling them the rules for any kind of grammar point is not something that's going to have a positive or long-lasting result for us. They need to use it. So we have to teach grammar through using it and for them seeing it and hearing it, etc. Okay, so here are some of the challenges that I have over the last couple of years seen students encounter. The first is that even those that are trained teachers from Japan still have difficulties because there's a huge difference in our educational cultures, right? And the level of interaction that's encouraged in the classroom. So we go over these differences and try to practice adapting in different ways. We also have the challenge of understanding the mind of the child and this need to learn inductively, so not directly, through playing. We have to put ourselves into the mind of a child. We have to try and remember what it was like to play when we were younger. Right? Many of us as adults have had that play kind of cut out of us, right? But we need to learn to play again. Then it's overcoming the need for perfection. Right? If we don't make mistakes, we don't learn. Right? If we don't take that risk, we don't learn. So we get over that need for perfection so that we can grow. as teachers. And even teachers who have been teaching for 15, 20 years still have room to grow. And the last thing is overcoming the difficulties of teaching a second language in that language. So we look at some techniques for how you can compensate for what you feel are your weaknesses in speaking English or communicating in English. So how can we make that easier for you to teach the English while you also know that you still have some challenges of your own with the language? And that pretty much sums up my completion. We send it back to Michio.
Yes, upon completion, student will apply for the following. We have two different types of license. One is with practicum, the other one is without the practicum. So the first one, this is gonna be a main license, elementary school English teacher license. So if you have this license, it shows that you have the necessary knowledge and skills to teach and manage English activities and English education in elementary school in Japan. So this license includes practicum. So the next one, second one is elementary school English pre-certified license. So this license is just without the practicum. So not enough teaching experience yet, but you might have the certain knowledge and skills to teach English classes at the elementary school. So however, when you have a chance to finish 50 hours teaching practicum, you could switch your license to a real license, elementary school English teacher license. So the next page is JSHINE Hybrid. The JSHINE program have been running in a hybrid format right now. We have students joining at the school and we have students joining online, remotely. So hybrid format have been running very effectively. So there is a student who is still in Vancouver and who is comfortable to come into the school. They are able to join the program from the classroom. And there's students who are not able to come to the school, who are in a distance or uncomfortable to come to the school yet. They can still join online. And this hybrid format has been working very effectively. And next page is the student testimonial. So I'd like to introduce Shiho's testimonial. So she took JSHINE program a few months ago, and you'll be displayed in English on the screen. So I would like to introduce this testimonial in Japanese. So she says, 私は2ヶ月ほど前に JSHINE の授業を受講しました志保です。私のクラスには6名の生徒が参加していました。バンクーバーからは3名、日本から2人、トロントからは1人が受講していました。オンラインコンバインと聞いて不安と期待を膨らませながら受講しましたが、結果として大変素晴らしい経験をさせていただきました。お互い先生も含めて快適な状況で受講できるように努力し、相手を思いやりながら各々が参加でき、JSHINE 指導者としてはもちろんのこと、人としても成長させてもらいました。また環境に惑わされず、目標を達成していく仲間の力強さにも勇気をもらうことができました。カナダの実習では実際にカナダの子どもたち、先生、保護者と関わることができて、異文化を生で実感できました。コロナの影響で JSHINE 自体の開講が危ぶまれる中での受講、実習ができたことに本当に感謝しています。新しいことを始めるには少し勇気がいるかもしれませんが、ぜひ一歩踏み出してください。Yes. So this testimonial is Haruka Ono. She took JSHINE course in TESOL for Young Lads in 2018.
皆さんこんにちは。私ははるかです。私は現在日本語をオンラインで教えています。子供英語を日本の子供に教えたりもしています。JSHINE コースを取っていたのは2018年の11月12月頃、そしてその後2019年の1月から3月頃までTESOLコースにいました。TESOLコースだったら学校の中の実際の生徒たちに英語を教えます。JSHINE コースだったら現地の保育園や幼稚園に行くチャンスがあります。一つのクラスの中にいろんな国 籍の人がいて、いろんな言語を喋ってる人がいて、英語一つをとっても一人一人の生徒の難しさが違ったりとか、捉え方が違ったりとかします。でもそのクラスの多様性が一緒に学ぶ面白さになると思います。同じ学校の中にその教室があるので、安心ももちろんだし、いつもこう刺激をもらいながら目標になる人たちがそばにいました。しっかり力を出して頑張ってください。
Okay, well, thank you very much to Michio and to Kira for introducing the program to us. And yeah, so that's kind of the details about our JSHINE program. As we get towards the end of our hour here, I just want to discuss a little bit about the process for admissions into the program, and then we'll have a brief question and answer before we finish up. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the admission requirements for CELTA and IH TESOL. They are very similar, as you can tell from both mine and Karina's talk, that the programs run very similarly. The minimum entry is a high school diploma. Saying this one, a university degree is necessary for TESOL Canada professional level 1 status, as well as for teaching in Canada. So a student can take the IH TESOL or the CELTA without having a university degree completed. However, in order to work in Canada and in order to achieve TESOL Canada recognition, they do require that you have a minimum of an undergraduate or a bachelor's degree. The minimum age is 19 years old. And for English language proficiency, the CELTA is a C1 level, which is approximately an IELTS 7.5, while the IH TESOL is a B2 level, which is approximately IELTS 6.0. Both of these programs do not require submission of an IELTS score for entry. We will assess each person's English ability for the course through our application process, which involves some tasks on language and teaching, as well as an interview with one of our trainers. So all people will be assessed that way before the course. Okay, if you would like to apply, the application form can be downloaded from our website. It is a relatively long one. It's about 7 or 8 pages, and then you complete that, you email it into us, and then we contact you to arrange the interview. So the interview is done now face-to-face or over Zoom or phone. We are able to do all our interviews online. And then once application has been accepted, we ask you to submit all the required documentation. For the JSHINE program, we have 2 levels of entry for the course. We have the intermediate level and the upper intermediate level course. Excuse me, all courses, always you have to have a minimum high school diploma and 18 years old. For English proficiency, for the intermediate course, it's level B1 or TOEIC 500. And for the upper intermediate, it's B2 or TOEIC 650. Most people who take the course are native Japanese speakers, but for non-native Japanese speakers, JLPT level 1 is fine. Excuse me, my throat is dry. Maybe Sharon, can you finish that bit up for me? I'm coughing.
Thank you, Jeff. So as part of the application process, what you must do is complete our online IHB test, which can be done just through the IHWO World website, and also submit your TOEIC score. That is equal to a low intermediate if we are talking about the CEFR framework. And then lastly, submit all your required documents. So you can move to the next screen. So just to let you know, all the applicants that do successfully pass all the requirements are accepted on a first come, first serve basis. So please apply early because there is a limit of 12 people on each course. So there are some questions that I'm going to ask. Oh, sorry. This is about why you should choose to train at IH Career Colelge. Well, just to reiterate, all our instructors are very highly qualified. They hold a Delta, Masters of Education, and they are JSHINE licensed. All our programs are recognized by TESOL Canada. Our CELTA, our ID TESOL, with the exception, of course, of JSHINE, which Jeff has talked about. We offer both courses in either a face-to-face or hybrid delivery, and all our courses include that important teaching component. So not only do you get theory, but you also get the very important essential teaching practice. And we can offer these courses at a very competitive price to meet your needs and your preference. And all those that are on the call now, we will waive the registration fee. I think there are a number of questions that I'm going to ask Jeff. Jeff, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you, Sharon, for helping.
Okay. The first question is, could you tell us the possibilities about working in Canada as an ESL teacher?
Okay, certainly. I mean, yeah, the language teaching or language training industry, we can call it in Canada, is very large. Canada accepts so many international students every year, and they contribute very much to the economy. And for many students coming to Canada, language study is their first step. So getting their English up to a level where they can go on and do other programs of study, be that at college or university level. So there are always lots of jobs available for teachers in Canada. Of course, our industry is one that has been hit severely by the pandemic. So and international students not coming into Canada has certainly affected this job situation. However, once things sort of return and as the borders begin to open again, we foresee no reason that this will not return to what it was, that Canada as a leading international destination for students to come to learn English and also to learn other programs. But English is kind of the first step for everybody. So job opportunities are very good. Must have a university degree to teach in Canada and must have a recognized certificate. And that's where the CELTA and the ID TESOL or IHC are both recognized for that, for teaching in Canada.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. So another question I have is, what is the difference between all those different terms? TESOL, TEFL, and TESOL.
Okay. This is a very good question that we often get. So there are many different terms, or we call acronyms, for describing TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language, and we have TESOL, like TESOL Canada, which is teaching English as a second language, and then we have TESOL, which is teaching English to speakers of other languages. Essentially, they are describing the same thing. In terms of, from our perspective of training teachers, we're training teachers who can teach English to non-native speakers of English. That's the idea. So whether it's in an environment like they're teaching in Japan, or maybe they're teaching in Brazil, where the students, everyone in the environment around them is not English, but they're learning English. Or if they're teaching in Canada or in the United States, where they come and the environment is in English and they're learning English, the actual style of teaching, the techniques for the teaching are the same. So it's teaching a language, teaching English to non-native speakers.
Okay, thank you. I have an important question now. I have a bachelor in education and I was an ESL teacher in my own country. So is it necessary that I take this qualification that you're talking about, either the CELTA or the TESOL certificate?
Yes, it depends where you're looking to teach. If you're looking to teach in a language program, be that in a private or public college, teaching government-run programs for new immigrants to Canada, you do need to have a recognized TESOL or TESOL certificate in order to do that. So even a Bachelor's of Education that satisfies the requirement for a bachelor's degree, but you still must have a recognized TESOL certificate.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to ask Karina if she would like to give us a brief testimony as a teacher.
Okay, so based on the questions that you asked, I'd like to share my own experience. I'm from Brazil, and I've been in the teaching setting for over 20 years. So I also came from Brazil with a bachelor in education, And I had previous experience teaching English in Brazil for over 10 years and different educational settings for public and private schools and for language academies as well. So my first thought was, okay, I have experience, I have already studied, but I'm going to a different country. I'm going to learn about a different culture. And taking the TESOL course with IH Vancouver was so helpful. I got here in January. I started my course, IHC course, in February, and I was hired in March. So there is a chance. So come here and showcase yourself and your talents and your gifts and your abilities, because I believe that there is space and there are opportunities. Of course, that with the pandemic right now, things are a bit different. But with your educational qualifications from your country and our training courses, it will just build up. And as Jeff mentioned before, I'm also a coordinator for the Modern Languages Department. So when you learn language teaching, you can transfer the skills. So I was, when I was hired in March, after taking the TESOL course, I was hired first as a Portuguese instructor, and then as an on-call ESL teacher. And then I was doing both for a while. And I can say that I'm still learning. I've been learning a lot since I got here 10 years ago, and I started my my relationship with IH. And I would highly recommend that you come or you join us the way you can, and you try, and you will only benefit from this experience, I'm sure.
Hey, Karina, I do have one last question for you. So one of the questions posed was, will I be teaching the teachers themselves within the class? Who will I be teaching?
So when you are, because I guess that it was a little bit confusing when I used the words trainees and students at the same time, right? So I'm going to call trainees the candidates for the course, and students will be the students you will be teaching, the ESL students. So for the first 2 weeks in the foundation course, you will be teaching your classmates. So it's like trainees rehearsing with other trainees. So we will prepare classes and you will teach each other during 2 weeks. For the IHC part, is the same as CELTA. You will be teaching the real ESL students. So the students who are volunteers, and then they come, they want to learn English. The only difference is that they are not paying for the classes, but they are students and they want to learn, and they have this need to improve their skills. And for the young learners part, the micro teachings you'll be doing, you'll be teaching each other. But then when you go to the practicum, if you have the chance, you will be working with real young learners.
Okay, thank you, Karina. So that was very informative. So I'd like to hand back the time to our host, Jeff Ramonko.
Okay, thank you, Karina, and thank you, Sharon, for sharing that. I think, yeah, very important information there. So that's all the questions we have for today. Is that right, Sharon?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to wrap everything up here. I want to thank everybody for attending today, whether you're watching us live or whether you're watching us later online, not live. I hope the information is helpful. If you do have any further questions, on the screen now you can see some of the ways that you can contact us. Our main contact emails for JSHINE is the jshine@ihvancouver.com email. And for our TESOL programs, the info@tesol-vancouver.com. You can reach us there. We also can be reached through our advisors, through their emails for students from Korea @ihpacific.com, from Asia, including Taiwan, China, Thailand, etc., asia@ihpacific.com. Latin America, Brazilian students, reach at americas@ihpacific.com. For Japanese students, we have Japan@ihvancouver.com. skip the ADD there, sorry. And last for Europe and Middle Eastern students is learn@ihpacific.com. Where also you can reach out to us. We have a variety of social media channels where we're active on, and you can see on the left of the screen there, including our IH Career College Instagram and IH Career College Facebook page. So please feel to reach out to us wherever is best for you. We're happy to handle any other questions you have leading up to hopefully what is the decision that will enhance your career as a teacher and maybe give you something new, a new qualification that you can use to grow, whether you're going to be teaching in Canada or other countries around the world. So again, thank you very much to our speakers. Thank you for everyone for coming. I wish everybody a great day and a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.